Hi, I'll take a look at the new ArmA3 editor, which is included in the ArmA3 alpha. So basically this editor is still a 2D editor. The 3D editor I've read in an interview they didn't include in the game yet, so it's mostly the basic 2D editor that you've got in ArmA2 and ArmA1 in Flashpoint. But you can see the interface, it changed a bit. Some new cool buttons are there and some functions. But let's start with the basics. Well, firstly there's this normal unit button. You can still activate it using the F keys, like F1, F2. Of course group is still there. You have your normal group selections. And yeah, on unit you have all the normal stuff, fuel, ammunition, other stuff. So that's essentially the same. This should be triggers. Yeah, it's triggers. Well, you know that stuff. This should be waypoints, link stuff. This is markers, okay. And we have modules. I didn't have a thorough look at the modules yet. Yeah, let's keep it that way. Then this stuff should be the normal, it's where you select whether you are on the mission, on the intro, outro win or outro lose. You have your normal buttons there, save, save as, load, merge. But there are some interesting new stuff, not Intel, but there's the debug console. So actually, normally in ArmA2 you would need to have an add-on for that. They included it already in the 2D editor. It's pretty handy for mission designers. You can also notice all the coordinates, they are displayed right in the lower corner. So that's also neat, because normally you would have to type in a command to get the coordinates of a unit. And we have the functions viewer. This is, well, I think probably the most handy part about the new editor, because you can see all the functions that BI Studios have created. And otherwise you would need to tap out of the game, scroll through them, find some forum entries about them, and here you have them all neatly placed. And I think, yeah, that's pretty cool that they have the stuff already directly in the editor. Of course, this probably is for more advanced editor users, but you have the help text, and they should help you guys out. HSim is probably take on helicopters, ArmA2 of course. So you have all those scripting stuff, that functions that BI Studios created. And up there you have the config viewer, so you can see all the config entries in game. But you can also, or supposed to, create new stuff directly from this. So normally you would have to download an ArmA2 whole config which contains all the entries, and then you would skip through this config and look for some specialized stuff, like stuff you can't find in the normal entries, some specialized building and other stuff. And I should be able to create a new unit out of this, like if I select this config entry and yeah, create it under the cursor's position. So this should probably work like this, but I'm clicking on it and close. If I click here, so nothing's happening, but I'm probably doing something wrong, but or maybe this doesn't work yet, but still it's cool stuff that they include this in game, so you won't have to use the normal config, skip through it, search for your stuff, and you can do it directly in game. Well, this was a short preview and not a very thorough preview of the editor, but maybe it will help some guys out. To conclude, what do we know about the new mission editor? Well, mostly it's the same, but you have some new stuff like the functions viewer, the config viewer, and the debug console, and of course it's all more fancy. Sadly, the 3D editor didn't make it, but maybe you can enable it and like with some debug parameter, as the 3D editor in ArmA2 and Operation Arrowhead was hidden. So you could still start it, but I don't know on ArmA3. Maybe you can still do it. But also, if you don't like the new design, you can switch to the old design, like this, and go to traditional. And yeah, I have to start. No, I don't have to start the game again. So I just click OK. And okay, so yeah, of course I have to restart the editor. That makes sense. And you have the traditional layout, like F1, F2, F3. I'll probably stay with this layout. Of course, the other layout looks more fancy, but it probably makes no sense to use a fancy layout in an editor. And that's your normal stuff right there.